Hello, my name is Nick and welcome to That British Homestead. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing now. Today I went over to the allotment and I was planting potatoes. These are our potatoes that we're going to be harvesting in the next over the next few months. So I'm just pasting them out here and placing them down. These potatoes actually I got from the allotment. There's tons of different varieties. I'm actually making 2 beds at the moment. So I've got this very attacked by birds brassicas, so I decided to pull those up. I'm going to replace them with some potatoes. So I've been talking to a lot of my subscribers, or a few of them anyway, and basically they were saying how much they hate the plastic mesh. I am totally with you on that one. So I thought I would give it a go and try to find a way around using the plastic mesh but minimise the weeds, because of it, how I've explained before, in the allotment we actually can't have weeds as part of my agreement, and I'm one of those people who really likes to have whatever they say in the allotment agreement. I like to make sure that I'm following it. It's only fair, isn't it? So I'm just basically pasting out all my potatoes there of one particular variety, and I'm covering them up with a little bit of fancy compost. Then I've decided to put a different variety in the middle of those, because they only need to be about a foot apart. Okay, some people do cut their potatoes in half, but I've chosen not to. I've always done it this way, and I know that some people swear by the other way, but I've always tried doing this way. And once again, I put in the fancy dancy compost on top, just to cover up the potatoes and give it a medium to grow in. I'm doing the no dig method, which is a method that I find really fantastic, so that I'm not breaking up that soil structure. Okay, I like to do a little bit of a rotation on my crops to make sure that the minerals and all of the crop bacteria and things that live in the ground have a really good level of nutrition. So I'm swapping from brassicas to potatoes. I'm now putting on some potato fertilizer. I'm quite giving it quite a healthy sprinkling, I would say, and basically I'm going to repeat this routine on the other bed. Varieties I'm using here are Salad Blue, Heti and King Edwards. So I'm just doing a mix of one and the other between there. That's why I've laid out the King Edwards first, and I'm moving along to my specialist potatoes afterwards, to make sure that I get a nice colourful selection when I'm harvesting. So what I'm doing here is I'm earthing up my potatoes using wood chip. I'm trying to work out the best way of doing this, but I think the best way is just to tip it over onto its side. And I'm just ensuring that basically we don't have any sunlight coming onto the developing tubers, because if you do get that, then they do turn green. So that is all the wood chip is doing. I'm having to do a few runs for wood chip to make sure that it is covering all of my potatoes, and I'm making sure that I have enough room to put it all. Potatoes develop, I'm going to be probably putting more and more wood chip on top, but this is all whole leaf wood chip, so it's going to be rotting down nicely over the next year, and it's going to make absolutely wonderful compost for next year. So I'm thinking about feeding the microbes today, tomorrow and next year, because it will be like having a 3-course meal having all of this wood chip on top. I know some people worry about how much nitrates it's going to have, but I've not really had an issue with any nitrates on here, and I'm giving them a whole load, a healthy dose, I was going to say, of fertilizer, so it should not be a problem. So I want to explain this bit right here, why I've covered my arms up, is because this has actually got some prickles in it. I think it was a rose bush or something, so the top layer of that was incredibly prickly, and it was pricking my hands, and I could not remember where for the life of me I'd put my gloves. Like we all do, we never remember where our gloves are unless we don't need them. So I'm kind of mounting them up now into little hills. The camera doesn't do a very good job of this, I don't think, but you can see that they've just become little hills. I'm putting some blood and bone meal onto them now to give them like a little head start. This wood chip has been rotting for a little while now, and I'm telling you, there's so many worms in it. Okay, just working down all them leaves. So I'm putting on some blood and bone meal to make them all excited and come up to the surface. I find the more of a covering you give your garden beds, the more the activity you see from worms and etc. So that's why I'm making sure that they have enough just to come up to the surface. They do like the leaves, and I have to say that it is quite well rotten, so in places anyway. And you can see as I'm tipping it out, you can see the different layers of the colour of this. So some of it is already turned into like really good compost, and some of it needs a little bit of time. As you can see, the darker stuff is the stuff that was at the bottom that was much more rotten down from the last load that I got. There it is. So it doesn't take that long to rot down when it's mostly leaf. And I'm talking like leaves as in bushes, etc, etc, not just conifers, because they do have a issue with the pH if you have too many conifer leaves. But this is great stuff, and it works for now. We've actually had a massive problem with getting fertilizer on our allotment because the grabber that we normally use to transport it has now broken. So this is the finished product. It took me roughly about a day to do this. As you can see from that pile, I haven't even put a dent in the amount of potatoes that I want to be sowing. So these are the first 2 beds, and I've got a good few beds left to go. But over the next few weeks, I'm going to make sure that I put all of my potatoes in, and I think they look pretty wonderful. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Happy gardening.